Okay, in today's video, we are going to learn how to add and subtract fractions without common denominators. So in this case, we actually have to do a little bit more work. We have to find LCD, which is short for least common denominator. So we actually have to get them back to the original case where they're the same number in order to add and subtract. So we cannot add them as a 5 and a 4. We have to have that common denominator case in order to do the adding or subtracting. So anytime your denominators are uncommon, you always have to do this extra step of the LCD and then convert to the appropriate denominator. So first example, we have 2/5 plus 1/4. So the first thing we have to do is find an LCD between the numbers 4 and 5. So least common denominator or least common multiple is basically the list of forms in their multiples, right? So you do 4, 8, you have 12, you have 16, and then 20, and then 24, and then 28, and then dot, dot, dot. Then for fives, you have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then dot, dot, dot. Once you build the list of the two multiples, right? Multiple meaning 4 times 1, 4 times 2, 4 times 3, 5 times 1, 5 times 2, 5 times 3. The lowest, the number that's in both lists, and it's the smallest. So this one looks like it's a 20. So the LCD between 4 and 5 is 20. So once you make that decision, this is the goal to get both of your fractions to have a denominator of 20. Um, a cheap way, a quick way to get a least common denominator is just to take the two numbers and multiply them. So always 4 times 5 will get you 20. That'll get you to it quick instead of thinking through it. 4 times 3 will get us to 12 quickly. 8 times 2 will get us to 24 quickly. And 12 times 8 will get us to 96. And that might not be the smallest, but it is a valid LCD. So you want to try to go for the smallest. So the whole goal is to have 20 on the bottom. So now I'm going to convert my denominators. I need a 20 and a 20, and I'm still adding. So then I have this 2/5 fraction, and it turned into something with a 20 on the bottom. So how did it go from a 5 to a 20? I had to multiply this by 4. And whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So this also has to get a times 4. So again, I'm converting to 20. I had a 5. I need a 20. So times by 4. Top comes along. So now you have 2 times 4 on the top, and that's 8. So 2/5 just turned to 8/20 for adding purposes. Same with 4. 4 turned into 20 by doing a times 5, and then whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So 1 times 5 is just 5. Then now, once you've done all that, you have your common denominators. Then once you do that, you can just keep your 20 the same, just like the case before where they were already the same, and then just add or subtract the top. So 8 plus 5 is 13. Always try to reduce if you can. This one, we're stuck. 13 over 20. Doesn't share any common factors. Okay, same thing again. 3/4 minus 2/3. So now we're subtracting, and we still have to find an LCD. So we still want to find the LCD between 3 and 4. So again, if I make a list of 4s and I make a list of 3s, 3, 6, 9, 12, and then 15, on, and then 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, on and on and on. The lowest number that's in both lists. So least common denominator is 12. Again, another way to get to it quick is just to do 3 times 4, and that'll get you to 12. So the goal is to convert denominators to a 12. So set yourself up. Here are your 12s. You know you need a minus now. The problem is asking you to subtract. So again, now it's time to do the conversions. So 4 has to turn into a 12. So how does that happen? We have to do a times 3. And whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. 3 also has to turn into a 12, so we do that times 4. And then 2 times 4 is 8. And then now we're back to the case where we have common denominators, 12, 12. So we are not going to add them up or subtract them. We're going to keep them 12. And then 9 minus 8 is just 1. So 1 over 12 is your final answer. Remember your words, sum for addition, difference for division. For subtraction. So if someone needs a difference, they're referring to subtraction. If you need a sum, they're referring to addition. So let's do a couple more. So common denominator between 8 and 3. We need an LCD. LCD between 8 and 3. So the first number that 3 and 8 match up at is at 24. So if you make your list, you should get a 24, and that should be the lowest number in each list. Another way, we just multiply, we also get a 24. So our job is to convert to 24. So we want to have a 24 on the bottom and a 24 on the bottom, and then now we're adding. So 8 has to turn into a 24, so times by 3, and also 7 has to times by 3 because it just comes along. So now we have 21 on top. Then 3 times something gives us 24, so 3 times 8, and then the 8 just comes along, so 2 times 8 on top is 16. So then now we have our 24s, just keep it as a 24, and then we're allowed to add the numerator. So 21 plus 16, 37. This is improper. You can leave it improper. That's fine unless it asks for a mixed number. And also you can now reduce this because 37 and 24 don't share anything. 2s, 5s, we can't divide anything out, so we're stuck. Over here. So earlier in the video, I said 8 times 12 is going to be 96, but there's a smaller LCD than that. So you could do the 96, so you'll have to reduce, but instead I'm going to try to find the lowest number, right? So if we make a list of 12s, 12, 24, 12 times 3 is 36, 12 times 4 is 48, 12 times 5 is 60, on and on and on. What number does 8 also go into? And it's the lowest. Well, 24. So I don't have to go all the way to 96. I can go to 24. So this will be 24, and this will be 24. If you go to 96, it's fine. You just have to reduce. So you don't confuse yourself. You can't go wrong. You might just have bigger numbers to deal with. Okay, so the conversions, right? So now we need 24s. 12 needs to turn into 24, so we'll times by 2. And 8 needs to turn into 24, so we'll times by 3. And 3 times 3 is 9. So then finally you have 24, 24, 24, and then you have 20 minus 9, which is just 11. And then we're stuck here, 11 24ths. If you went all the way to 96, try to reduce your fractions, and you'll eventually get down here to 11 over 24. This is the lowest terms. Okay, last two. You can always pause the video and try these last two, and then I'll just catch up to you. So for 3/10 plus 1/5, I don't want to do 5 times 10 and go all the way to 50, even though that's an option. I know that if I build a list of 10s, then the first number I hit, 10, 20, 30, ... This 10 is my LCD. It's the least common denominator between 5 and 10. So it's in both lists and it's the smallest. This prevents me from going to higher numbers all the way to 50. So convert to 10. So this one already has a 10. This is a plus sign. This one needs a 10. So this one we don't touch, right? It already has a 10, so you just rewrite this 3 over 10. And then this is the one that needs a converting. So we need to times by 2 in order to get 10. 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 2 is 2. So then now that you have your common denominators, 10, 10, 10, then you can do 3 plus 2 and get 5. Now this we have to reduce. So 5 over 10, what number is in common on that? A 5. So if we divide 5 from the top and 5 from the bottom, we should end up with 1 on top and 2 on bottom. So 5 over 10 reduces to 1/2. Okay, and the last one is kind of hard to see. We have this 8 and 4. Same thing. Instead of doing 8 times 4 and getting 32, I recognize that 4 goes into 8, so I need to find the LCD. So if I do my list of 8s, I'll have 8, 16, 24. And if I do my list of 4s, I'll have 4, 8, 12, ... So the first number is actually 8. So it's less work. If you put a little bit more work in on the front end, you won't have to do as much work throughout the process. So 8 is the goal. We have minus 5 over 8 already has the 8, so this will just stay 5/8. And then 4 has to turn into 8, so we'll give it a times 2 because we need to multiply to change it. So 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. And once you're there, you're set up. You have your denominator is 8, and then 5 minus 2 is just 3. And then that is also irreducible. So this is done. So when you don't have common denominators, it is a little bit more work, but it's not that difficult. You just make yourself your list, find the first number that they match up at, and hopefully it's the lowest. If not, you'll just have to reduce further in the last step. All right, good luck, you guys. Have a good day.